Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for Politically Incorrect Knitters live from the Knitting Wars. I'm Deplorable Knitter. We have Ann Pinkava as always, and the lovely Neil
You forgot my
from Black
name.
Magazine. No,
And
I was gonna throw in something there about you being a black female, but I couldn't work it in well, so I just Thanks for calling me out though. I appreciate it.
You can count on me.
So, where do we want to start today, friends? Knitting? News? A little bit of both? Knitting news?
You're the boss.
I don't think I'm the boss. So
We're all just like, what?
Like,
It's like we've never done this
friends, what
before,
is
isn't
going
it?
I know. It's that
I know.
kind of a day. As for knitting, I'll start with knitting because I have almost nothing. I completed a whole sock and then I left it at somebody's house. So I have to go and get it. And I just have a little bit of the second one, which is sad, but
That's a nice sock.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I made it
it's
myself.
a small one. Be weird if
What
somebody
kind of a
else
sock
made it.
will it be
Well, it won't
when
be
it grows up?
a fairly tall sock because I tried on the other one and it was like, oh, well, no. So we'll see. I misjudged, but I'm starting my Van Gogh socks. They're happening. The project is going. I thought I better get a start on it. And so, yeah. And project number 2 is that I am making a pattern for the Legion of Memers. So it's like this wonky little badly photoshopped Darth Vader skull.
Brilliant.
So yeah, that's what I'm working on. I'm working on it in hat form now.
Just going back to your Van Gogh thing, the sock, is it just the yarn that is Van Gogh or is it a pattern that's Van Gogh?
The yarn is that it's the opal.
And I just want you to say that name forever and ever now.
Van Gogh. I can't say it right. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Well, we say
Oh,
Van
okay,
Gogh.
yes.
I don't know if it's proper or not.
I think you're right. I think I'm wrong.
Well, it's very British of you. Anyways, they said Van Gogh in Doctor Who, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, isn't it? So it's more like, at the end, isn't it? Like Van Gogh.
I don't know. We just leave that whole part off like it's not there.
Yeah.
Adam says we say Van Gogh, not Van Gogh.
Go.
Yeah, pretty much. They're very nice socks, Anne. Or it will be a very nice sock shortly.
I hope so.
Now,
The first one was a little tight also, like I could get it on, but I have problems with my socks that they just like fletch out a little bit. So hopefully it'll work out.
Apparently we need to just keep talking because somebody's on a very long drive and just wants us to, we'll put you to sleep. You'll be crashing.
yeah, I can't listen to stuff when I'm like tired. I like zones me right out. I'll put on a podcast in the evening and I'll be sleeping. I'll be like, what happened? I don't know who killed that person now.
Oh man. Must be unsolved mysteries. Like, no, they really solved this one. No, it's unsolved. I never heard the end.
I just missed it. I was sleeping.
They'll never know what happened to that poor woman. Like, no, it's well documented. Like, oh no.
Nancy's making poutine. I've never had that.
Help? What is that?
Oh, I've had poutine. It's where you have the it's a Canadian
French
special.
fries.
Oh, she did
Like
tell me once.
thick
Is it got
fries.
cheese and chips?
Yes,
And gravy too,
and
isn't it?
gravy poured over.
Yes, I do know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been interested in it just because the idea of gravy and cheese just doesn't make me feel happy inside. I don't know if that's just me or not.
Big old cheese.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. But chips and gravy is lovely. Or fries and gravy, as you would say.
Chips and gravy?
Yeah, that's delicious.
I don't know.
No.
I think it's great. I'm for it. I mean,
Morgan says it's good.
Like
I believe you.
I don't know whether the Irish eat that. Sorry, I'm assuming everyone watching can read the comments. Someone's just made a comment saying, "Don't the Irish eat their chips with curry sauce?" I have no idea, but the English do. The British do.
No, I was about to say that. I mean, if you had like a curry with paneer in it and, fried potatoes, no problem with that whatsoever. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, chips and curry sauce is nice. But I was talking to somebody the other day, and we like our chips, fish, and mushy peas, so it's like fried in batter, the fish. And somebody said that they would have that with curry sauce, and that is wrong. That even I think that's wrong.
Well, the sort of thing with fried things like fried fish or something getting soggy, I don't think it'd be too bad. I know.
You can have it. If you ever come to the UK, I'll get you that, and you can eat it.
There's curries with peas in it. So
it's not the peas; it's the fish. That's the thing I think would be, because you wouldn't be able to taste it, would you? It'd just be curry.
Yeah.
And like mush, curry and mush in your mouth.
What is the worst thing?
Yum.
Nancy wants to know if she's racist because she doesn't like curry. I've never had curry either, so I can't. I guess I'm racist because I haven't even tried it.
Nancy, look in the mirror.
Curry,
here's a clue.
American curry, there's Japanese curry, there's Thai curry. It's a wonderful land of possibilities.
Yeah, if the reflection in the mirror, Nancy, is white, you're a racist. It's official.
Though Nancy is also Welsh, which is one of the most, put upon nations ever. Everyone forgets them. No respect. It's terrible. A little of that, I think, may be deserved because you spell things so weird. But even so, that affects other people.
Did you watch Two Sisters and Some Yarn this week?
No, I haven't yet.
Well, they were talking about a certain yarn dyer, Tina, and about the name of and it's like I did a whole episode on how to pronounce her business name, but they still got it wrong. So for people that don't know, the double D is pronounced TH, like so it's a Weneth.
Oh, Weneth.
So it's a Weneth.
That's not how I ever say it.
So everyone else reads it as a Wenid, I think. A Wenid? Is that what you say?
Mm-hmm. That's what I call her. People know who I'm talking about. I guess that's fine.
Yeah, and if you can't say it, just say Tina. Everyone knows who Tina is.
Shout out to Tina.
Yeah, I was thinking about her today because she was a staple in the beginning of Knitting Wars, and then life got nutty. We haven't seen her in several months. We better make sure that she comes on soon.
Yeah, definitely. And I know that Amy of Two Sisters says that Tina is now sponsoring their podcast. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's only me that hasn't got a sponsor.
Whoa.
Well, I'm
That's
sorry.
just because you just grift all day long for your man.
Yeah. Anna and I did this for a good year, really, before we had a sponsor, didn't we?
Yeah, I'd say so.
About.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Yeah, for a bit.
It was a while. But Neil, I have to ask you, I'm distracted. Your bookshelf is usually on the other side. What is happening? Are you in a different place? Is your camera different?
You have
it's the camera. Can you see the picture behind me?
A little bit.
Can you see what it says underneath the picture?
No.
Is it the wrong way round?
It's
doing a mirror
on your other side.
Yeah, it's doing the mirror reflection, which is why I kind of look a bit like that.
Your left hand. We can do it that way.
Yeah, so if it says Manchester the wrong way round on the picture here, so if anyone can see it, then it's definitely mirrored. Yeah. Yeah, because I look weird. I'm looking at myself thinking, I don't look like
that. Sorry.
You're just having conversations every direction today.
My kids, one came in that door, one came in this door, and they're all asking if they can play video games. And the answer is no. And now that they've both asked me while I've been doing this, they're not playing for the rest of the day.
Oh,
I'm that mother.
Oh, that's cruel. I'd be a rubbish parent.
I had to say no so many times. It's the frustrating part.
You should have a little printed no that you just hold up whenever they come through the door. Just no.
Yeah, no,
It means you're parenting well.
I try, but we got a new thing. I got these little chore charts, And every day it has things on it that you don't think you should have to say unless you're a parent, and then you realize you've said it 700,000 times since you've had children. Things like, have you brushed your teeth yet today? Why haven't you eaten breakfast? It's noon. What are you doing? So I got these chore things, and they've got little buttons that they can click. There's a red X, and then when they click it over, it's a green check mark, so that it says things like get dressed, and then they check it. And then once they're done with everything, they get to do something fun, like play a video game. It has all
Can
of
you
our
send me
school
one of
subjects
those
on
for
it.
me?
I know, right? But I love it.
That's great.
I love it because nobody has said to me this week anything about like they've asked me like, what's the weather going to be, which is a fine question because we live in New York and one day it's 40 and one day it's 70 and it's hard to tell. But yeah, no, I have not asked anybody about the status of their teeth this week, and I love it. It makes me so happy. Might have to start asking you guys. Did you brush your teeth today?
I did, and I flossed.
Whoa.
Good for you.
I floss every day. Do you floss?
I do. Not every day.
Not every day.
So I think that's part of the ADD thing. Like, I used to forget to brush my teeth at nighttime because I would just fall asleep. So I'm getting better. Like, I'm telling you, better living through drugs. I'm a fan.
Well, someone once said to me, when it comes to teeth, you only need to brush and floss the teeth that you want to keep. The rest, don't bother.
That's fun.
Pretty good rule.
Yeah. No, I need one of those. A lot of people in the comments are saying that they need those things too. You can get them off of Amazon, and you write your list. I wrote their list, and it's the same for every day. And one of the tasks is help mommy. And that task can be anything. It could be we're doing laundry today, or you need to dust, or whatever mommy says is a help. Like yesterday, one of them gave me something that I needed. Does that count for helping mommy? I'm like, no, that's just being a person. Like, just there's a difference between like, having common courtesy and being a helper. Like
the problem with being an adult and having one of those is that there's no repercussions and there's no one to hold you accountable. So
that's true.
That's the problem. I would need somebody to check. Somebody in the comments has put, I have British teeth. I feel so sorry for you. Because it's kind of true. That stereotype is true.
The healthcare of your people not being able to get in and stuff.
Yeah, so I don't know whether the impression we get of Americans is that like the moment your child has teeth, they have a brace or whatever you call them. I don't know what you call them. Whereas
braces?
Here, yeah. Oh, is that what you call it? You do call them braces. Yeah. Whereas here, you don't get one unless your teeth are literally growing out sideways. You know what I mean? Just whereas Americans always seem to have perfect teeth, whereas we don't. Like I've got crooked teeth at the front there, but I would never. They wouldn't have straightened them because it wouldn't have been seen as bad enough.
Yeah. So Stephanie says, oh, sorry, wrong one. Stephanie says that if you do the chore chart thing, you'll get to play a video game when you're done. And then Renee said that she just added them to her shopping cart. So there you go.
I have a list of things to do in my planner, and while it is helpful, they don't always get done, man. I've had the same thing for weeks.
Have you ever done that bullet journaling or bujo? I thought I'd have a go at it because everyone on podcasts that I watched at the time was doing it. And it's like this weird thing where you write down everything that you need to do. And then the next day you kind of carry. Oh, it's complicated. I literally did one. I wrote one page out and I've just never even opened it since. I've got a perfectly lovely book that I think I spent £12 on, which is about $15, $16. And it's just sat there gathering dust. Useless at things like that.
I tried journaling. I've tried it on and off for years, and I just cannot care about it. I could care less, actually, about it. And
you also, couldn't care less. Sorry, I'm being a Brit.
Correct. You're right. I couldn't care less. Literally, don't care at all. And I have a planner, and I try to write things in it because I have a lot of things going on in my life. And then I'm like, I wish I knew what I was doing tomorrow. Wow, if I looked at my planner that I spent an hour writing it, I would know, but I won't. I don't know why that is.
I don't know. I I go back and forth with planners and journaling and stuff, but this year I found one that I liked, and I'm like, ooh, it's going to work out for me this year. I can feel it. Is it particularly different from other ones? Not really. But for some reason, it's like, no, this is the one I'm going to.
Well, the other thing as well, somebody's put here that they tried doing the bullet journaling and did exactly the same as me, and they only filled in the first page. Now, I've got that first page handwriting problem, whereas I don't know whether you have this as well, but the first page of anything that I'm writing with my hand is beautifully written. Then, after that, you can't even read it. So I don't want to, I don't like the other page. Do you know what I mean? Oh, Tabitha's,
I don't have that problem. My handwriting is trash no matter what, and as anybody who's in my high level Patreon can tell you, I don't even know if they can read the notes I send them, because I write them notes every month, and then good luck reading it. I don't know if you can tell or not. So
does it take them a month to work it out? And then
it could be. Maybe it's like a cipher. Like maybe. No, my handwriting's trash, and I embrace it. It's fine. If I had a planner, it would just tell me that I don't have time for journaling. Yes, that's where I am too. But yeah, so why do you keep ditching Tabitha?
Well, I didn't. No, I didn't. I've got to. Sorry, what's that?
Why does Tabitha keep ditching us? It's okay.
Oh, is it like a big circular thing?
It's like, yeah.
Well, she won't come on our show. I don't know. Whatever.
Well. Sorry about my children who require me to keep them alive. Yes, that's how I am with the cats. I need to keep my cats alive.
Which is why you ditched Tabitha?
No, well, what it is, when Tabitha and I do our videos together, it's always on a Friday. So it's usually very early morning for Tabitha and late, well, about this time for me. And Friday nights at this time for me aren't always good. Because sometimes I have visitors, sometimes I'm going to go out or whatever. So it's always a bit of a rush. So that's kind of the reason, Tabitha. Yes.
Are you trying to explain that you have some sort of other life? Because I don't think that's an acceptable answer.
Is it not believable? Was my line a complete? Did it
no,
not
I believe that you think you have another life, but are you supposed to? Is the question.
Oh well, I don't know. Is it legal? Are you allowed? Well, let's do it tomorrow, Tabitha. Not tomorrow, sorry, this Friday. Let's do it and make it happen.
You missed a couple days in there.
I know. I have no idea. Well, we've just had a bank holiday. Do you guys have bank holidays? Yeah, because the Kingy got crowned. We got a day off on Monday.
Woo-hoo!
So. Yeah. So, but the thing is, we'd had a bank holiday the previous Monday, and we've got another one right at the end of May as well. So there's going to be 3 this month. So nobody knows what day it is. Like at Christmas time, when mind you don't get as many days off at Christmas as we do. But at Christmas, we've got no idea what day it is until the 2nd of January. It all kind of just blurs into one. So at the moment, I don't know what day it is.
For real? You get all the days off and you don't know what's going on?
Yeah, as soon as we have a day off from work, like a bank holiday, everything gets thrown out the window because TV is different. So, like all of your signposts that get you through the day and through the week disappear. So there's no TV that's the same. You can't go shopping because the shops will be shut. Well, not all, but some. You're not at work, so you're sat at home and you just don't know what to do with yourself half the time. So yeah, you end up forgetting what day it is.
I got it. Back home, some of these comments are brilliant. Day. I can't imagine.
Though we don't. Sorry, we don't have bank holidays, but we do have a lot of holidays that are only recognized on like Mondays or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So like Veterans Day, you have the day proper, then you have Veterans Day observed, which is kind of, the skiing lobby weekends.
And I tell you what, we don't get. So, well, I don't know whether the King will do it, but Canadians and Australians get a day off for the Queen's birthday, or they did when she was alive. But British people don't.
Really?
What?
Yeah, how wrong is that?
But don't they also like observe the Queen's birthday on different days of in different parts of the Commonwealth? Like,
yes, yeah. She has her real birthday and she has her official. She's dead. The king now will have his real birthday and his official birthdays.
Right. The day that just everyone throws a party for.
Yeah. Apparently,
official birthdays.
I think it started with one particular king whose birthday was like December or something, and it must have clashed with Christmas. So he decided he wanted everyone to celebrate his birthday, so he made it up to be in the middle of summer. And I think that's why it's always happened, I think.
Interesting. You guys are a weird bunch, you know that?
We are. Well, did you see the coronation? I didn't. I didn't watch it.
Oh, I did.
I watched a little.
What did you think?
Well, I thought, well, first off, I was watching it with my mother, who knows much more about these things than me. And she's just sitting here like, have you seen Queen Elizabeth's coronation? And I said no. And she's like, you need to go back to watch it for comparison. So I haven't done my homework. And she's like explaining all the different things of what's going on. And I really wish that they like commentated on who was in the crowd, because a couple of people, mom's like, oh, that's Queen, Sophie, and that's this, and there's Zara and her husband and the rest of them. But there was this one couple, they were in full black military dress and they both had yellow sashes. And the lady, she like had a sapphire you could pound a nail with. Like, it was incredible. I'm like, oh, they showed up. But
wasn't
otherwise,
the king and queen of Saudi, was it, or of Jordan?
I don't think so. They, like I said, they looked more Asian. But yeah, I'll have to look up and see where they're from.
And you could be like Tabitha, and you could just watch her coronation via the show The Crown. I guess it's all probably the same, right?
Guess who was missing from it, though? Guess who didn't go to the coronation?
I mean, we're not talking about Meghan, are we?
Nope.
Okay. No, I don't know.
Well, Biden didn't.
Biden, yeah.
Dr. Jill showed up with the most ill-fitting coat thing.
I thought we knew that Biden wasn't going, though, right? Did we not?
I didn't know, but I assumed, he might. But...
No, he said
he
wasn't going, and that was right before he took his trip to Ireland, which was apparently more important.
Yeah. I watched the Donald Trump Nigel Farage interview. Did you see it, Anne?
Oh no, I haven't. I saw clips of it floating around, but no.
It's quite interesting because one of the things he started to talk about the fact that Biden didn't go to the coronation and how bad that was, and he pointed out, because they mentioned the Irish thing, and then I don't know which one. I think it was Farage pointed out, but he won't acknowledge that he's actually more English than he is Irish. So Biden is actually an English surname, not an Irish surname. So his lineage, although he will have some Irish, it's mostly English.
Well, it's not as if they want to claim him.
Well, yeah, we don't want him, and the Irish don't want him. You don't want him.
Adam says it's because commies don't like royalty. I'm going with that answer.
Well, did you see the thing I posted today about that? I don't know who she was. Oh, black actress who I think she's been in Bridgerton or something. I've never seen that show, so I don't know. And she was like on a panel talking about the coronation on BBC while all the royal family were on the balcony, and she just said that it was terribly white. And it's like,
and.
Yeah, that is a family, regardless of them being royal. They are a family, so you wouldn't ever look at a family and comment on something like that, would you? Right. We're in a white country, for God's sake.
Yeah, but also, one of the beautiful things about the coronation, I mean, you have the pageantry, and you have even though Charles is being a moron about the whole thing. But anyways, apart from that, but everybody who's showing up is showing up in their native dress. That it's like, this is multi-culti central right here, but this is an English ceremony. This is an English, crowning. We are all here. We are members of the Commonwealth. That's why we're showing up. We're showing up because this is a big deal. And I mean, except for the random pop stars that Charles invited again, because he's Charles. But, it's like,
are you dissing my king?
Oh. Well,
like I care.
You're not allowed to diss the king.
Well, I was telling DK this the other day, but I have this terrible thing where the radio is playing at work, and sometimes I am overcome with an uncontrollable urge to yell at the radio, but I don't because I'm in public and I'm a reasonable person. But no, there was this
allegedly.
Stop stealing my catchphrase.
Dude, I had to say it right there.
Right. Okay, but they had this little like radio thing about, King Charles and coronation was coronated today. And I'm like, oh yeah, good old Charlie. And then the next thing was it's like, but some people in England are saying that this is, awful to do in the middle of a recession when so many people are in poverty. And I again wanted to turn and yell at this. I'm like, oh, you mean the vast majority, it's like, you mean one of the cheapest systems of government for the world? You mean the head of state for 6 out of the 10 freest countries? You mean Canada pays 27 cents per person for the maintaining of the monarchy? And then the next thing was something about Biden, like, oh, well, Biden is dealing with the economy here. I'm like, yeah, Mr. 100-car motorcade. Why don't we talk about decadence in our system? Huh? At least Charles inherited the gold. Like, that's pretty economical. I'm just saying that he has his own lands. Like, come on.
Hey, Anne, don't hold back.
Well, and I'm sitting there, and again, so you're watching the coronation and people are coming in. It's like the Westminster gift shop, and I'm like, dang, I want to
go. Neil, I need you to weigh in on this. Isn't Queen Consort French for side chick?
Kind of. I've got an unpopular opinion. I quite like Camilla. And I don't have a problem with her being with Charlie, because Charlie should never have been with Diana in the first place. So what they did with Diana and Charles and Camilla was really cruel, because Camilla and Charles were madly in love from being very, very young. And because she wasn't pure, in inverted commas, they weren't allowed to marry. So that's why his arranged marriage with Diana happened. They were never in love. So
she wasn't a virgin?
Camilla, no.
That's why they didn't get married?
That's why they weren't allowed to be married. Because
for real?
Yeah, for real. Because the thing that people don't know is that the line of succession. So now William's already married. So the next one is George. George is the next one in the line of succession after William, isn't it? Well, George will have to ask Charles's permission before he can marry. And if Charles says no, that's the end of it. He doesn't marry her. But if it's somebody who isn't in the line of succession, then although it used to be like that, the Queen wouldn't let her sister marry the man she loved, because I think he was divorced, was he? I can't remember, which is quite ironic now. Charles couldn't marry who he wanted. But there's also like a conspiracy theory that she got pregnant to Charles when she was quite young, and that the baby was taken off her and was raised in Australia. And he's actually surfaced saying that he is their child. And whether it's true, no idea. But that would kind of make a lot of sense, I think. That might be the reason why they weren't allowed to stay together, because he'd already had sex with her and she'd had a child to kind of to prove it, kind of. Go on, DK, you're looking confused.
No, I'm not feeling confused, but I'm just feeling like if the dude was in love with her and they already had a kid together, then it would make sense for them to get married, as opposed to forcing him to marry someone else that he doesn't want.
Yeah, but the thing with royalties, and the upper classes, which people, when you watch all these silly programs like Bridgerton and all that, I don't know whether it comes across, but they didn't marry for love. They married for property and for wealth. And it was a known thing that the man would just have affairs. And the wife always would know that. She would know who, she might even know who the woman was that he was having an affair with. Because it was like, well, we're not together because we love each other. We're together for our family name or for our house or for our money. So every monarch, so the king, the Queen and Prince Philip had multiple affairs. Both of them did, and everyone think they were madly in love. They weren't. They may have been very early on, but they both had other partners, allegedly. I got it in.
It's just so weird to me. Like, I get it back in the day when like money and land and stuff was part of it, but when they got married in the late 70s or late 80s, like, was that really a thing anymore?
It was, yeah.
Really?
It was still, yeah. That's why Diana was chosen, because the problem was in those, because she was an aristocrat herself. She was Lady Diana. There were
As
so
a lot
few.
of people will say, she had more British blood than Charles.
Well, yeah, true.
Those Germans.
Yeah, but she was like pretty much the only virgin left, amongst the aristocracy. They couldn't find any, and that's why she was the one that they settled on in the end, because she was a virgin, which seems ridiculous now.
Yeah. So apparently,
because he didn't have
according to Adam, he's that, and then
he was, yes, he
and
was.
then Mountbatten talked Queen out of letting him marry Camilla, so I didn't know that either. Interesting.
Oh, I could tell you quite a few things about Mountbatten. He was a horrible, horrible man. So that was Charles's great uncle. So Prince Philip's uncle.
Okay.
He was a horrible man. He was the one that unilaterally on his own decided that India and Pakistan had to be formed, and the whole partition thing, which killed God knows how many people. It was all down to him on a whim. And people just blame it on the British, but it wasn't. It was him. Oh, and he was also allegedly a paedophile. Allegedly. He's dead. I can say it.
Well, after that cheery news,
that's interesting. But there's so
always
much
bring it
about
down
it that I want to know.
Watch The Crown.
For real?
Netflix.
A lot of it is in there.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the only thing. Go on.
I was just going to say, I assume because Netflix was putting it out that it was probably some sort of sanitized or twisted version, like the documentary they did with
not royal people, but like people who study the royals, I guess would be the correct way. Yeah. Have kind of said like, yeah, there's some issues. Not that
right, but
idea, but
they did the Cleopatra thing where they put her out as a black person, and like all of Egypt is like, oh, she wasn't. So I just assumed that the crown was similar.
The person in charge of that project was like, Egypt has to come to terms with its blackness, and they're like, what? We're actually from Africa.
Oh.
Like,
I'm pretty sure that's not how this works.
I've come to terms with being a black woman, so Cleopatra should as well. If I can, she can.
Oh, there you go. Mountbatten pushed Philip to 12-year-old Elizabeth to get her to fall for him. Okay. Yeah. So this Mountbatten guy really wanted to have be part of the royal family then.
Yeah, Prince Philip was a penniless child of the Greek royal family. And they were pretty much Nazis. They were all, his two sisters both married Nazis. His father hated him. He spent a lot of his life his young life as a sort of homeless aristocrat. So not homeless on the streets, but, being shipped between, relatives to relatives, and nobody really wanted him. And he went to boarding school, but he did really well there, apparently. Yeah, so he had nothing, and he just had his title. And that's why Mountbatten, his uncle, was desperate for him to marry the Queen, well, Princess Elizabeth at the time, so that he could control the royal family. And he pretty much did once they were married. He was the real power at the time.
I mean, to add a little fairness to Philip, that he was actually out there in World War II doing real stuff. Like, he wasn't a slouch.
Well, what did he do in World War II? Oh, was he in the Navy? I don't know.
He was in the Navy. No, he was in battle in the Navy. So.
It's weird because they were the royal family were at war with their own people, really, because, you had the previous king, what was he called? Edward VII, was it? He had to abdicate. But the reason, it wasn't because of Wallis Simpson. The reason he had to abdicate was because he was a Nazi.
Well, it was a bit
I didn't know that.
Okay, also, part of it is too that Queen Victoria had a ton of kids, and they all married all the royalty of Europe. Which, I mean, as far as peaceful communion between nations goes, you know, that's it actually worked out generally-ish as far as a plan for, you know, keeping things nice between nations. Well, the problem is that all of a sudden, all of your German relatives are Nazis. And there's a lot of sympathy for that. If they are your relatives, it's a little difficult to say things. But not only that, but okay, a lot of you know, Americans are all hoity-toity. Yeah, the Nazis were socialists, and the FDR's crowd was actually pretty okay with all of that until, you know, it all got a little too hot for them. But you have that sort of creeping, like, oh, well, they're okay. And not to mention that things like eugenics are still cool among many elite circles and stuff like that. It's like, oh, well, isn't socialism great? Oh, won't this make for a better world? Like there's a lot of steps before it becomes, you know, okay, not that it wasn't always evil in its infancy, but also that you don't always think of it as evil when it's just these people doing these things until you're like, oh, wait, there's genocide. You know, and that was the whole, I mean, like Kristallnacht, that really opened the eyes of a lot of people in Germany and outside. Before it's like, okay, these guys are getting a little much. And then it's like, oh, things are going to happen. And then it got worse, and then it got worse.
But it was too late, wasn't it? So a lot of people couldn't get out of that then.
Right.
You know, once,
right.
Yeah.
But anyways, so yeah, so that's sort of the thing too. That's like, aha, we're at the point now where we have to denounce our cousins. That's a little awkward for everybody.
So I want a recommendation from somebody about a book I can read or something, because I find this all very interesting, and most of it I didn't know about. So if anybody's read anything about this, tell me.
Well, okay, not that I've read any, but David Starkey is always on Stein's show. I don't know if he does a modern royal family, but he's pretty hilarious. So I'd be thinking.
And he knows his stuff about the royal family. He really does. He's good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he's been cancelled.
Yes.
What's his name?
David Starkey.
Okay.
He's a bit of an eccentric. He comes across very antagonistic, doesn't he? I can't imagine he'd be your best friend if you ever met him. Put it that way.
Hearing him and Stein debate is hilarious, but I mean, they'll agree on some things. He'll just be like, why are you saying that all these countries want their artifacts back? England invented art. We invented the museum and we're keeping it. Like, that's right, David. You go.
Well, he used to be a teacher, didn't he, at a private school, or was he a university lecturer? Probably both. And I don't think he's anybody. I don't think you can disagree with him. You know, he won't let you disagree with him. You know, there's
well,
no
you can't disagree with him, but he'll fight you.
yeah.
No, but he's funny. Anyways, and I know that at least one of his books is on like the watch list right next to 1984 and Tolkien for being radicalizing. So
really,
yeah.
Do you know which book?
I don't remember.
I'll have to find out. I've only read one of his, and that was about Elizabeth I, and it was really good. It's not a novel. It's I don't know what you call it, a factual documentary type book, but very well written. Don't make it so easy.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me. No, but I've studied a lot of history. I listened to a lot of biographies and different, but I've never really listened to anything about the royals. And now I want to know all about it, because you guys, I don't even have anything to say for the first 40 minutes because I didn't know any of it. So I'm just listening.
Well, I think it's the ones that are long dead that are the most interesting, because they're the ones where things are truly come out. You know, when they're still alive, they want everyone to think they were marvelous. So things like Queen Mary, who was the Queen's grandmother. So she was like a queen consort, which is how we started all this in the beginning. It's because of her that the Romanovs were killed. So so when the Russian Revolution happened and they killed their royal family, they were relatives of the British royal family, as Anne had already said, all descended in various ways from Victoria. And because she was insecure about whatever. What was the Serena's name? What was she called? Was it Catherine? No, Nicholas. It was Nicholas and whatever her name was. I think it was Catherine, but I can't remember. Because when they visited England, she was very rude to her about how little Buckingham Palace was compared to the Russian, palace, and she was very, dismissive because the Russian royal family were much more wealthy than the English one was, and when they asked for help, she influenced the king to say no. And as a result, it's not her, she didn't kill them, but as a result of her not wanting that woman in her palace, they were all shot. Which I find quite fascinating, to think, something so petty could change course of history.
Kill an entire family because you said that your house was better than mine. Like, okay, like what?
The commies killed the entire family. She just didn't help them not be killed.
Yes.
By the commies.
I'm okay. Yes. She didn't personally kill them, but also,
right.
But I just wonder what.
But no, you made fun of my house, so now we're not friends anymore. Whatever.
Yeah. Like, which isn't even her house.
Good enough to run away to. I see how it is.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't expect any of this.
Welcome to our history podcast, everyone.
I know. It would be better if we actually knew details, though. We're just kind of like, oh, that guy, that one that was so and so's something. Emily says the documentary "The Father-in-Law of Europe" is a great one on YouTube. So
not seen it, but I bet it is.
Hear about it, because I'm going to be doing some research. Well, not research,
apparently. Anne might know about this more, but didn't some, I don't know how true it is, but didn't some schoolgirl find out that every president apart from one is related to the English royal family in some way?
I mean,
I haven't heard that one either.
Have you not heard? Did you? Maybe the Americans weren't told about it. Maybe it was only over here, but I'm sure there's only one that wasn't, and I can't remember which president it was.
Trump.
Probably, yeah.
No,
yeah, the only one that wasn't a lizard.
Trump's mother is Scottish, so I mean, not that means that he's related, but he has some connection to the islands.
I was just kidding. I was just saying Trump because everybody,
I think it might be. Even Obama, I think, was. But then again, he probably had that written into his family tree, didn't he, when they made it up, along with his birth certificate.
Well,
allegedly.
That's the thing, though. What's with all of these? It's like, oh, isn't this great? America's having a diversity moment, and they're all from the Commonwealth. Like Obama was from Kenya, and then you have Kamala, and she was Jamaican Indian. And I'm like, dude. It's like, yes, our Commonwealth relatives. We have open arms towards them, at least in that respect.
Anyways. I forgot. Oh no, I
did still something. Live. We can still hear you.
I'm still live. I know. I forgot.
Go to the bathroom.
No.
What have you done?
What's wrong with my phone's not charging. Okay, I'll be back.
Well, I am talking about Commonwealth news, not relating to the coronation. Australia has this fun thing where they want to install racism in their constitution.
Tell me more.
Oh, yes, I'm sure.
What?
Yes, that they want to pass this thing, so it's called The Voice, like the show, to Parliament, where they want to put a racial clause into their constitution, so they have a group of race-based bureaucracy that means that they have power over anything Aboriginal, which can mean anything. So, and also there's no oversight in this, and especially since the gal I heard talk about it, Alexandra Marshall, she's like, a lot of other Aboriginal boards have been dissolved because of corruption. And you're saying, we're making one now with no oversight. I'm like, oh, great. So you can't dissolve it because of the corruption.
So I'm being a bit gormless, a bit stupid, as we would say it. How is that going to affect people? What would that mean?
Well, New Zealand has this problem where, for example, they're rechanging the names of all of the cities and monuments and things, so they're all Maui names. And also that there is a preference in the schooling towards teachers who speak Maui. Very few people speak Maui, but now it's like a required thing, and you're basically left out of certain things if you don't speak it. So it's, and also Maui claim that they own all the water because it's their spiritual right, which is a little difficult because people need water. So there's,
I thought Maui was the Rock's character in Moana.
it is, but it's also the name of the people group.
Ooh. DK's just pissed off a whole nation.
Well, I'm just asking a question. I didn't realize that that's what they were.
Also a people, and also a fruit, and also a bird. They like have multiple things.
I have a controversial thing to say about the Maori in New Zealand. And it will no doubt infuriate any of our Maori viewers. I know we have so many of them.
Maui viewers are totally able to come into the comments and say whatever they like to disagree with us. We're just saying.
Absolutely. Yeah. That the Maori are colonizers too. They are not from New Zealand. So New Zealand is not their cultural home.
No, it isn't. They hate the locals.
Yeah, they're from
the whole thing with Moana, where it's so cute, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll find the way, and we'll go to all these islands, and we'll take all the natural resources, and we'll move on." They don't mention the cannibalism and the slavery.
I don't think there was cannibalism in the Disney movie.
No,
I'm pretty sure that's no, we don't do that in the Disney movie.
In Moana, there was only ever humans, this only group of humans, and coconut people. They never found an island in which there were other people that they would then murder.
Why do you know so much about Moana?
I went to New Zealand like 6 years ago, and I did a history tour.
So, was Moana out 6 years ago?
No, I did the history tour, then Moana came out.
Okay.
DK, don't question Anne. Don't question Anne. We know she knows things.
No, but
though Adam's in the chat, and Adam was right about Richard III, so I'm not infallible.
Oh, what was the problem there? Tell me. Tell me of your flaw.
That was Last Knitting Wars, and he said my kingdom for a horse, and I said that was Henry V. I was wrong.
Oh.
I got the Dauphin bragging about his horse, and Henry V confused with another line in Richard III, because I'm not.
You're going to have to send one of those apology messages out on Instagram. You need to do better.
To apologize to all of the English and Commonwealth generally, but specifically the English, because I was wrong about their culture, and one of their greatest cultural figures who contributed to the world, William Shakespeare.
Well, as the person representing all of the English, I speak for them all. We want that in writing, please. And reparations. I think every person in the is owed some money for that.
27 cents, famous for the Queen.
What say you, Adam? Adam's the only other English person I know watching. Oh no, there's what is it? Something in the Sky. What's the username?
Stitch in the Sky?
Stitch in the Sky is watching, so we do have another Englander there as well. So careful, Anne. We're ganging up. We're multiplying.
Imperial reparations, yes. Okay, so there you go.
Exactly. We owe England a lot of money. And actually, and not to step on you, England, because of course we owe you a lot of money. You ended slavery around the world. You created some of the, again, currently part of the Commonwealth. Of the 10 freest nations, 6 of them are Commonwealth. So that's important. One of the most stable systems of government. You know, that
should I take a bow?
You brought democracy and
you might as well
to various parts of the world, even though you said with Lord Mountbatten you kind of screwed up the India-Pakistani thing. Still,
but we don't talk about that.
We
just sweep that under the carpet.
As a whole for the region, I mean, naturally, those who are Indian in the comments can argue, feel free. But I think that you generally did well as far as education, uniting the region. The African colonies that were British rather than anyone else, much better on the average than, I mean, all of these fantastic things. And also just a little pat on back for America too, for showing up at the end of World War I and II. Okay, we're a little helpful.
A bit late though, weren't you? A bit like Anne, a bit late.
But I'm just
you
saying,
could have been a bit earlier.
That's true. And America, as I've said before, sucks at colonialism. We are so bad at it. We are not good when we interfere with other people. We just assume, without like the groundwork of like society and education and missionaries, we just assume that if we make people free, they'll just be happy and they'll be able to govern themselves. We are bad at it. And
one thing Americans
for what they do.
Well, you're better than the Belgians were.
Well,
you know what the Belgians used to do. You know, like Belgian chocolate, the thing they're famous for. They used to chop the hands off I forget which country they colonized now, or they ran in Africa. They used to chop their hands off, and it became a thing where they used to use the hands as like ornaments and things, and they used to celebrate. And they, even today, they eat these little chocolate hands that they make, and it's based on the hands of the black people that they used to chop off.
Dude, that is messed up.
Yeah, look it up. It's a lot worse than I'm saying. It's a hell of a lot worse. I wouldn't tell you the rest of it.
Two people in the comments are saying that's the Congo.
Congo. Okay, yeah, I didn't know which country it was, but it was bad, wasn't it? I think they'll agree it was bad.
Yeah, and yeah, it's like, anyways, while we suck at colonization, we don't chop anyone's hands off.
Are you sure?
We look at it in a long term. Sometimes we question if it helped at all, kind of a way, not in a necessarily currently oppressive term, except for turning a blind eye to stuff in Afghanistan and then leaving all those weapons. That sucked too. But
speaking of colonization, this is a nice little segue into knitting, you know, because we are a knitting podcast.
Sorry.
No, we're not.
I've, apart from blocking and weaving in the ends, I've finished one of my cowls. So this is where's the blue bit so you can see? Oh no, you've made me big.
Yes.
This is the Lady Curzon cowl. And it's based on the peacock dress that she had made for her years ago. And I've yet to knit it's been tested, but I've yet to knit the bigger one. And I don't know whether I'll have time to knit it before next issue. So I don't know. I'm panicking a little bit because I'm not the fastest knitter.
When is the next issue coming out? Because you said I had to write a thing for it, and
I had to. I said you had to. You have to write it.
Thing, but that's I have such a stop when it comes to, oh, by the way, you have to finish something, and I'm like,
Well, I think we're going to be late again. We're nearly always late, let's admit it. Because the deadline is the 15th of the month, and I don't think any of us are going to be ready for that. So I think the issue is likely to be out. What are we in now? April, May. It's likely to be about the 15th of June when it's published. So basically the 1st of June is going to be the cutoff point. I have another finished object, but I need to take something out of this because I'm not happy with the colour. But this is, the red is going. So the red, I think, is hideous. It really doesn't work. This is another cowl, but this is my golden ratio one that I was making a while back. I don't know if you remember it. So it's based on mathematics, and it's the golden ratio, and it's a mitered square thing. But I don't know. I didn't make good color choices. So the red is going, and it'll be something else.
Very cool.
And this is the same thing again, but in completely different. This is, whoops, get it the right way around.
She likes the red.
Who says that? Oh, really? Oh, okay. So this one is just going to be, it's the same thing. You can't see really because it's a bit more neutral, but it will have a pop of color doing the same kind of angular spiral on it. But I've had loads of ideas to do with that idea, to do with that design. And I think it's going to be a bit of a rabbit hole, because I know people do like those mitered square blankets and they always tend to do them the same way. But now I've figured out, quite a few different ways you could do it that will give some quite cool effects. So
that's cool.
Yeah, so that's what I've been doing. I've still not finished that sweater. So I've knitted all the important bits. I've just got to sew it together and then do the collar and cuffs and all that. But I just can't be bothered at the moment.
I have that one sweater of that from Devon's pattern where they're not even long sleeves, but I just have to put the sleeves on and it's sitting there and sitting there. I'll
Sometimes the nearer you get to finishing something, the more you don't want to do it. You know, it's like, but you've only got to do like that cuff that's that long, but can't be bothered.
Yeah, sometimes it's just too hard. So I'll show you my knitting now because I've actually been, I'm telling you, Lynn said better living through chemicals, and I am on board. This is what it is. I am a new person. I have finished a project. I have started another one. I have patterns that need to be tested. So, hey, first off, this is a little sneak peek. Little cowl pattern, little
nice.
2 different sizes. One's longer than the other. I'm not going to show too much about it because it's kind of still in its process. But
is it a bit like a leaf?
It's a bit like a leaf. They're not blocked yet, so you can't see it as well. But those are going to be in testing. So if you want to message me, email me, whatever. And then this pattern is finally getting written up. I've only been talking about it for like 6 months. So this is the one I did. This is the one my mom knit, which turned out,
love that color.
She used some minis, so it turned out really great. And when she showed me the top, I was like, but when it's on, like it fits one of my kids and it looks really cute on. Just when it's laid flat, it looks a little weird. But everything still has to be blocked. I have this hat that's done and has to be blocked.
Oh, that's pretty.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I've
seen
that before. You've shown that, haven't you?
Yeah. This pattern's coming out now. This one's coming out end of the month probably. And I haven't been putting my patterns out, but I need to, so I'm going to work on that. And then, right, like, when was the last time I had this much knitting?
What? Don't know. Adam just said lots of whips on the go. See, I'm hip.
Yeah, these aren't whips. Whips are in progress, but close. This is a whip.
We should do a test of Adam, shouldn't we? Do like a, what's a frog? What's frogging?
Yeah. Lost a stitch here. This is for my niece for her first birthday. And it's a sweater. It is this big. As you can tell, it's for a baby because it's this big. So there you go.
It matches Anne's sock.
Yeah. I'm almost ready to split for the sleeves, actually. It just looks small because,
It looks good.
There you go. So that's what's been going on over here. I'm going to have testing. I'm going to have patterns coming out. All kinds of stuff. It is hot in here.
Have you seen Adam's response to the frogging?
No.
That's a particular Britishism.
Oh, do you not know what that is?
No, I do, but perhaps not one to be explained.
Let's just say it's rude. He made a comparison between frogging.
Oh dear. So there you go. Yeah, so I've been knitting. I'm a new person. It's a lot of fun.
I might get that article.
Yeah, maybe someday.
So now I'm waiting for an article of both of you. I'm waiting for an article of both of you now.
Oh, well, not a full article from me. There's a summer knit along idea that we need to get codified. It's going to be fun. I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah, because you're the fastest knitter out of us three. That's why you're excited, because you know you won't fail.
I'm uninvolved in whatever it is. If it's a sock thing, I'm not doing it.
Doesn't have to be.
Like, I'm not even going to pretend that that's going to happen. So I'm just going to tell you now.
Yeah, it's a lace sock, lace weight sock. Something from your nightmares.
Never happening. No, that's just not even worth it. But hey, the April Showers knit along is going into May. April Showers, May Flowers, still going. So if you guys have baby nets, put it under the hashtag April Showers MAL 23 because There's prizes.
Oh, you made me laugh.
Prize.
Yeah, I watched your episode. When was it out? Was it Sunday or Monday? I forget. And I did laugh because you must have said it about 20 times that I was going to give that voucher, and I thought, I think I'm going to have to give this voucher. I think I'd better give this voucher.
I said it that many times. We taped at night for that one, and at nighttime I'm done. So I think that probably I was just repeating myself because I was like delirious. But yeah, there's prizes.
Oh yeah, we need to decide who gets. How do we work it out? Which voucher to give? We need to decide. So that's up to you, really. We can choose after.
Liz says she's doing Summer of Murder. You can't add another. This one will work for Summer of Murder, and it's not nearly as long.
It would work well.
It does work.
Why
for
would
Summer
it work?
of Murder.
What's the Summer of Murder knit along?
That is Tabitha's. It's from June to.
She does it every year, doesn't she?
Yeah, I don't remember where it ends, but June to it's the whole summer thing. And,
right, but how do you qualify?
That I think that it's that you have to knit while watching or listening to true crime, and I think she has a Telegram group that you can.
Do you have to show a picture of your knitting and the show on your TV or something? I think that's what she did last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Though if you're listening, it counts. So I don't know if she'll just be like, if you have a picture of your knitting and be like, "Look, man, I'm listening. Take my word for it." It'd be like, okay. Green cap, podcast you're listening to, and just stick it with it.
Yeah, I used to like collage them together, my knitting and whatever the podcast is I'm listening to.
Oh,
she didn't seem to mind that. Yes.
Oh, and Liz reminds me that she just came out with her Murder Knits cardigan, so it's like double points if you use it, and that's on Lovecrafts and Ravelry, and I think on her own website. Definitely on Lovecrafts, anyways.
Yep. 3rd annual Summer of Murder. Oh.
But yeah, Telegram only.
Does the South Park murder porn episode count? My husband and I were watching South Park the other day. I haven't watched it in like 20 years, and it was still so funny and messed up. But funny.
They were so ahead of the time. Everything that was in that show has come true, hasn't it? Well,
pretty much. This one was about COVID, though. It was messed up, which is not surprising. So, and if you knit the Murder Knits cardigan, you get double points. I think you said that, yeah.
Yeah.
So cool.
It's really pretty too. I haven't got the pattern yet, but it's kind of based on like it looks a little bit like a bathrobe because Tabitha likes to podcast in her bathroom. But it's a belted cardigan, and then there's cable sections down the front, and it's a drop sleeve a little bit, and also how the collar is, that the collar wraps around the back and then comes down as your front thing. So yeah, it's really cool.
Tabitha, for those of us who can do both, is crochet also accepted? Because this summer for my crochet class, I actually have to make a sweater. So
can we just have a show of hands who can crochet and knit? Oh, I thought you could, Anne. Sorry, I just wanted to make Tabitha feel bad, because she can't crochet.
Well,
Anne can crochet a bit.
No, I learned crochet before knitting, so I could do.
So you can.
Basic, and I have a. I showed it on the show we did with Amy, that it is like it's the granny square. It's the granny square pattern, but it's stripe, and I'll remember how that works and start it up again. But yeah, I wouldn't put me down as proficient for crochet at all.
Yeah, we've got a few hands in the comments. Have you noticed?
There's a lot of comments. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
See, Tabitha.
7, 8.
See, we don't really have
10.
to start the crochet portion of the leaderboard because,
yes.
Since when we had Maria come on and a couple people that it's like, no, I just crochet. It's like, we accept all crafting skills, but also we only have a board for knitting. So, so we need to be a little more accepting.
Okay. Shall we do it in the next episode? Shall we do crocheting then?
Right.
Even if it's just us
we
three,
remember.
whoever's here.
If we remember, we'll do it. It'll be fine.
I'll keep reminding you.
You'll remember it.
Look at what's happening to this book.
Okay, also we should figure out.
Wow. Tabitha, it's a little harsh, I gotta say.
So it gives a whole new meaning to murder knits, I suppose, doesn't it?
Yeah, the summer of murder. You submitted crochet, you are out. I can crochet, I can do a single chain and the single stitch. See, you make it sound like you're terrible.
Well, we're going to be doing the double crochet.
I'm better at croquet. Well, there you go. That must be a British thing. I've never played.
Croquet? Well, I've never played. It's only posh people play croquet.
Oh, okay.
I had that when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's a really silly game. You have a big hammer. You have a big hammer and like big wooden balls and silly little things, and they drink Pims and wear white suits. And
yeah, here's a question. I don't even know if it's a summer of socks. I just said that if it was about socks, I wasn't doing
summer of socks. Summer of socks.
I know what it is. Duh.
Well, you've only just remembered.
I forgot about that. Oh, she told me like 2 weeks ago. Like I can be expected to remember everything.
Well, there is an aspect to Anne's knit along that you might. I'm not going to say, but it might make you choose what you knit for that crochet
carefully
crochet along. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You might not want to double up, but you might want to, but you might not.
You might just say, Anne, stop drinking the crazy sauce and step away.
And you might want to get started on it now, even though you don't know what it is, to get a head start.
No. We're still debating rules, so not to just drag everybody on, because it's not set in stone, which is why I haven't written it to you. But everybody be very excited. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, Morgan's just said that she's scared. Yes, you need to be.
I was speaking to Morgan one night, and I may have accidentally let a little bit slip about it, but she's got us. It's okay.
She started a podcast. Morgan has. She did her first episode this week.
Dude, people. When you start your podcast, could somebody please tag me on Instagram or something? Because I don't know and I miss it.
Right.
I still haven't seen Chicken Ladies.
Morgan started a podcast. Chicken Lady has a podcast. Wise Owl Knits. She's put out like 4. And I was just catching them up last night. I'm like, oh, wow. I knew that she had started when I saw the first episode 01, but I'm like, there's 3 more episodes here. Wow.
They're breeding. Yeah, I heard a rumor as well that Liz and somebody else, was it Teresa is doing one as well, but I don't know if that's true. I just saw something in passing.
I have heard rumors of this podcast.
Oh, has it been long rumored? Is it legendary, the rumors?
The legendary rumors. I'm excited for it. I can't wait.
Oh. You have to tell me more after.
I don't know if there's that much to tell besides they're planning a podcast, but
Yeah, no, but seriously, people, if you start one, can somebody please tag me? I will let other people know. And even though I never actually have time to watch them, I'll try.
Yeah, and if you tell me as well, I'll put you in the magazine, in the list, if you want to be in it.
Ooh,
you might get targeted by some of the nutters out there. Who knows? But you take your chances.
I would say, that it's been much worse for other people, and like DK and Neil and stuff. But I'm like, you'll be targeted by the nutters. Woo.
Yeah, that's how it's been for Anne. So I guess that's not terrible.
How have you got away with it for so long, Anne? It's like, how?
I don't know. Me and my colonization opinions have not been touched. So.
I think it's because Annie's secretly bitchy knitter. I've always thought it.
Gonna out me like that on. It could also be maybe there are people out there who are like that. They have like full rage rant, whatever, and I just don't see it because I don't care. And that
could be. Yeah, it's probably
like
that.
I should go out and I should seek the view of other people, but I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's like, if anyone were to make like some great defamatory memes of me, I'd be like, finally, I made it.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think we need to talk about this real quick. Knits and Caboodles just registered for the Super Sock World Championship, and I don't know what that is, but I need more information.
I want
As a non, my mother is an amazing sock knitter. What is it?
What is the Super Sock World Championship, and how can I win?
Right. I need more information, please, and thank you very much.
Oh, have you seen Candra's comment? So just put Candra's last comment up. Anne knows what she's talking about, and they can't fight that. So thanks. DK and I obviously don't know what we're talking about.
Apparently.
Okay, the
well,
guys is just sound really confident in whatever nonsense you come up with. Like
DK and I just chat shit, obviously.
Yeah. So it's on Ravelry. So never mind. If the rest of you want to go look it out, though. Yeah, what makes a super sock? Is that like a super salad? No, don't know that one. Sorry, it's the way servers ask if you want soup or salad, and people used to. My brother was a waiter, and so if you say it too quickly, then people will be like, "Oh, what's the super salad? I'll try that."
The big one, okay.
Hey, Anne went back and watched the Michael Malice.
Oh yeah, that's depressing.
Yeah. It's depressing. We're not talking about Crowder today. What else were we going to talk about, though?
Oh, shall we talk about Culabra? I don't know how you say your name.
Oh, yeah.
Or do you not want to?
Sure. Do you want me to put the thing up on the thing?
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
I mean, you have the little button over your face the whole time, Neil, so we might as well use it for something.
Oh, I found out what that is.
What?
It's, that weird symbol over my beard now. Can you see it? It's just the software, the app that I use on my phone. It's PIK camera, but it took me ages to figure it out. Okay, so here we have Craftsnark, and as always, they're the epitome of fairness.
Love and kindness.
So
I love
somebody
trial by public opinion. The mob rule thing is really sweet. I like that.
But I wanted to show this because I just wanted to show the amount of comments that have had to be taken down because of them being personally abusive, rather than because one of the rules of Craftsnack is you're not supposed to be shitty in inverted comments, whereas pretty much every comment is shitty. But I think it depends on whether, like, for example, they can write anything they like about me and DK, for example, anything at all. It doesn't matter how bad, and it won't be classed as shitty. But somebody who they don't know who it is, then they'll be a little bit fairer with them. But anyway, this disclaimer is what's on the website of a really good designer called Culabra, I don't know how you pronounce it. Culabra Designs with a K. And she's got here that she basically her website isn't a safe space. So hopefully you'll be able to read this. I'm not going to read it out to you. But it's just about knitting. It's just about design, which is perfectly fine, I think.
Or her thing is, sorry, I had to bring it up on my computer to read because I'm recording on my phone. It's really small. But it's like, I run this website to a place where I can freely express myself through knitting and design, share my ideas directly with knitting community. And at my website, I don't care about your race, pronouns, politics, identity, victimhood, oppression status, etc. The only thing I do care about as a designer is knitting, which seems reasonable if you're running a knitting pattern website.
And quite nice. So. She's welcoming to everybody. That's the thing. Nobody's not welcome.
She just doesn't want to talk about it. Like, it is what it is, and we all are people and move on. Like, that's all anybody really wants in knitting.
So anyway, so the complainant said, I got a shawl kit from Paradise Fibers a while back, and I finally got around to buying the pattern and starting to knit it up last week. Since then, I've gotten near daily promo emails from the designer. I went to click through to unsubscribe just now, and this is the site's landing page. I still like the shawl pattern, and the money has already been spent, but yuck! I think it's going to have to go into hibernation while I work out whether I can turn off my annoyance at myself for not paying better attention to what I'm supporting with my precious knit money. it'd be a lot of knitting only to feel grossed out every time I use the shawl. For what it's worth, the pattern isn't even well written.
Oh.
So
okay, also, okay, her designs are stunning. Absolutely.
They are amazing.
Yeah. So, whew. So first of all, this is one of the moderators, and they've already said that several of the comments have been removed because they were personal insults. And it's like, for them to have been removed, it must have been bad, because the other stuff that they leave on Craftsnark is bad enough. But they, I mean, I remember seeing some of the ones early on, but I've forgotten some of the worst ones. But anyway, just read some of these comments. It's like, so this person, Brown_Sadai, or whatever that is, Yaksarani, well, that's, you know, fine, whatever. Here we go. This sub had left a bad taste in my mouth, but this thread might redeem it, or at least it gives me hope.
Hope that everybody is as closed-minded and willing to jump on the bandwagon to, you know, go after someone as they are, I guess, is what their hope is for.
Oh, and this then some of the suggestions. You should knit the shawl multiple times in rainbow, in the colours of the trans flag. Knit one with BLM on the front stroke back. Post them online. Tag her in all of them. I don't believe at any point the designers, made any comments about BLM, gay people, or trans people.
Nope.
So there's like a huge jump, a huge assumption. Then there was one that's been removed because it was don't be shitty, broke the don't be shitty rule.
Yeah. Can I just...
Yeah, go on.
Oh, sorry. This designer was removed from Ravelry, for anybody who doesn't know, because she had a shawl that it had gypsy in the name, and she didn't want to change the name, and Ravelry told her that she had to, and she got removed.
Yeah.
You may have heard about her. I think that was like 2 years ago or a year ago when that happened.
This is the third time they've tried to cancel her.
Yeah.
You know, so they've got it in for her. But I think there's something more to it than that, because there are other people have patterns called gypsy. I think they're actually targeting her for her ethnicity. But we'll get into that a bit after. So this one, as an all right... Go on. Sorry, Anne, go on.
No, I just wanted to say, it's only white people who care about the word gypsy. Like, really?
Yeah.
And it also, not to fluff about I went to Romania once privilege, but they were all cool, okay? Like, I actually...
Yeah, don't mess with Anne. She's been there, and she's got the receipts, and she's got the airline tickets, and the stamp in the passport. She can prove it.
Exactly. I met real gypsies, people. Now, so, I don't know. Anyway.
So Riley Lee Mel, I think that says... As an all right crochet designer and spiteful little soul, this makes me want to reverse engineer all the designs and give them out for free. Now, just imagine if any of us had said that about any of the woke designers. You know, they would go crazy, wouldn't they? So anyway, another comment was removed for not, you know, for being shitty. And then Viscountess Asbo. She's or he is somebody that I've had a few dealings with, a particularly nasty person. Says also, for someone who doesn't care about folks' pronouns or victimhood, she seems to care so much that so much to put a public service announcement on this. Sorry, I can't read now. A public service announcement. That's it. At the beginning of her website. So I'm beginning to think there are millions of people who haven't been wired for cognitive dissonance. How hard is it to be considerate of other people's feelings? Really? Like, where in that original post is she being horrible and not being considerate? I think it's actually a considerate post.
And I gotta say, as a person, why do I have to be considerate of you? What of our interaction, like these people who are like trying to argue with you on the internet, what of your interaction makes me have to talk to you? What makes me have to do something you agree with?
And also, she's not approaching them. They've gone to her. They've gone to her space where she, you know, she's the, you know, the queen of her space. She can do what she wants. You know, it's like she's not going to their space to make them upset, you know. They're crazy.
They are crazy.
Oh, this one, they said this about me as well, because remember when I had that introduction that was, to welcome everyone. Those last couple of sentences contradict each other so badly. Everyone's welcome to. If you feel uncomfortable, get the fuck out of here. Ugh. Well, she didn't actually say that. It's like, why do they make these things up?
But it's true. If them not pandering to your personal ideology, pronoun, whatever makes you uncomfortable, then you probably shouldn't be here. But that doesn't make her a mean or bad person for saying that. That makes her a normal human for not wanting to talk about that because we're knitting.
And in effect, she's giving them a trigger warning.
Yeah.
Which they all need, don't they?
So that they're not scared when they come across the name of her gypsy shawl or whatever her pattern was.
Yeah, but also, okay, so this is, old-fashioned manners sort of things with our previous comments about the aristocracy. But how ill-bred, that's like part of the thing of if you are from an upper crust society and they teach you good manners, part of the manners is to be considerate of others, but also being considerate of others is when you're in their house, you abide to a certain extent with their rules, that you're not going to be rude. You're not going to make much of yourself. That's the big one. And if you're saying that not constantly affirming me means that you're being rude to me, it's like, no, you're self-centered, honey. You need to back up.
Right. This is the difference between them and normal people. So like when my niece comes to visit, she'll say, can I go do X, Y, and Z? And her mother always tells her, ask your aunt. It's her house. It's her rules. Like nobody does that anymore. Like, maybe your mother lets you do this thing, but I don't. So we don't do that here. Like, it's not harming my niece to say, no, you can't do that here. Like people just have no concept of life anymore. And you have white privilege, Anne, so there you go. Just in case you were curious.
The original poster, I only learnt this the other day, that OP means original poster and OG means original. I didn't know. I had no idea.
Oh, there you go. You haven't been hanging out with those Tumblr girls.
Oh, is that where it comes from? So to whoever reported this post as threatening self-harm and sent the Reddit Cares bot on me, thank you. I feel that I've made it on Reddit now. And also, I'm okay mentally, just cranky at having paid £8 or $8 to someone I find deplorable. They're stealing your name.
Well, I don't, maybe I should get mad about that, but I don't actually have a monopoly on it. Isn't that terrible? I should have trademarked it.
Oh, and then this one, but this one makes me laugh. Wow, they have some horrible views. It's not politics, it's people's lives. Personally, I don't give my money to people who think it's okay to use slurs. Now, there's no slur in that introduction, but obviously they're getting at the gypsy thing there.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to read all of these, by the way.
Okay, it is such a disingenuous thing to say that your views are politics, but my views are simply truth.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, oh, well, I'm not into ideology. What I believe is just how it is.
And what I believe is life and death.
Exactly. I right every single time ever. You are a bigot.
And if you don't agree, then you are committing genocide and you are denying me my humanity.
That's true. What I do is respectful to people, and that you may have a different opinion on how to be respectful to people is literally killing them.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally. The literal genocide.
Oh, so this is where it gets funny, because they won't even say, it's like, Voldemort. So what is the G word in this context? And then someone says, the racial slur that rhymes with tipsy. And then someone else, I think it's the word that is an ethnic slur for Romani people. Romani?
I think rhyming gypsy with tipsy is a microaggression, and it lends to harmful stereotypes.
Yeah, they might as well have said tinkers and thieves, Oh, God. So then Viscount Asbo again. I suspect for her, Romani, I don't know how you say it, are some abstract romantic construct, not real people she has ever met. And she doubled down out of embarrassment, as these folks always seem to. I grew up alongside many Romani kids in the summer. This is the I've got a black friend.
Exactly.
Well,
I've already.
You're not allowed to say that anymore, though.
Maybe
I've got a Romani friend. It's like, oh God. And there we go. I'm skipping. Don't get how hard it is to accept. Don't get. Oh my God, I'm reading. I think that she's saying they don't get how hard it is to accept that words you used with impunity in 1978 are no longer acceptable. Well, I did a bit of research. I did my homework, and gypsy is actually the official term that the British government uses. They also use traveller, and I think Romani or whatever is on there as well. But gypsy is a perfectly legal and accepted ethnicity. And if you put your ethnic, you get those forms if you go for a job or whatever, gypsy is on there. So it's like if the British government can say it, I can say it. So gypsy, gypsy, gypsy. If I say that into a mirror with a candle, will one appear behind me?
And as a black lesbian.
Yes, well, as a black woman, you have to listen to me, because you have to believe black women. Remember that hashtag, believe black women. So everything I say, you have to believe.
Because black women are better than white women, as we found out today.
Yes, they're better mothers. And they are effervescent, like all black mothers and black babies. Effervescent.
Effervescent. Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
And of all the good things to say on the internet, that is right.
I think we need to explain this one, don't we? Yeah, for those, to put it into context.
Do you want this up still or no?
Do what, sorry?
Do you still want the gypsy stuff up, or are we done?
Oh, we can. Yeah, it's all much of a muchness. This, but what they were doing, I'll quickly round thingy up the gypsy thing. So basically, they were trying to cancel this brilliant designer, and I don't know whether we can't really put it up on the screen. I don't think. Actually, I'll find a website and we'll put it up afterwards.
Yeah. Know some of her patterns because they are they're
really
beautiful.
Pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, she's very clever, and she does things that I've not seen other people do. Right, I've now got. Oh, has it come up on yours? That's. Oh, it's a pain.
Also,
why won't it do that? Sorry, go on.
I know that, not to pause what you're saying, but like the thing with Jordan Neely in the subway. What are you looking at?
Sorry, I thought it was the website.
And the man who died in a subway, that he got onto the subway train and he was threatening passengers. He said that he was homeless and he was hungry and he was ready to die. And then he was violent towards the passengers, and a Marine had him in a headlock and he ended up dying. Okay, so that's the story. And but everyone's saying that he was an unhoused person, that he was, that can't just say homeless and crazy. Like, this is a tragedy, but going around saying, what about poor unhoused people who are just complaining about their lot in life? He was threatening passengers.
Yeah. And he kidnapped a child in the past, a 7-year-old child, and he punched an elderly lady in the face. And I think he broke her eye socket or something. This was a really bad guy.
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all these people saying it's like a lynching or whatever, and it's like the black man who helped the Marine, and the Hispanic guy who was an independent journalist who filmed it all, and the other passengers on the train saying, no, this guy was violent.
What about the Marine put him in the recovery position after they had subdued him? It's not like they were just choking him until he was
is the issue
they were trying to help him.
That the Marine guy, is he someone that years ago was believed to have raped someone? Is his name Brock?
I haven't heard that.
Brock something? Because I'm sure I might be getting it confused with somebody else, but I wondered whether that was what the issue was.
The Marines actually outed him, and his first name was Daniel something. So.
Right. So it's not the same.
Also,
scratch that.
Okay, not that this actually matters, because as we see with other shootings and attacks, that they'll take anybody. You know, if you're Hispanic, you're a white supremacist now. That it doesn't really matter what your racial makeup is. This will be considered. You know, this is the most multiracial lynching, because you know it's a white guy and then the black man helping, and then trying again subdue someone who is violent, and people are like, oh, it's a mental health crisis. A mental health crisis is also going postal. Okay, just because you're having a mental health crisis doesn't mean that other people are safe around you. But also, okay, the Marine, he looks, and I'm not just saying this to say this, if you see pictures of him, he looked like Henry Cavill. Like, especially they had a Marine picture of him with his hair short and no mustache, but it's like, no, this guy, he's blonde and blue-eyed. He has the most perfect blonde ringlets. And that guy, not that appearance means that you can't be a jerk or you can't be evil towards other people, but having that be this man is awful. This is the evil thing. It's like, well, this is the guy who, again, there were women and children in this train, and this man was being violent, and the other people around him didn't say that, that he acted without due force. Of course, it is terrible what happened, that this man died. But when even the mayor of New York and the other people who are lefties to the hilt were like, well, maybe we should wait for what the DA's office says without giving an opinion. And I think the mayor also had this, AOC was running off her mouth, but the mayor also had this thing of, this isn't Gotham City, we shouldn't have vigilantes. And I'm like, you know why vigilantes are a thing? Not that they ought to be a thing or that they're the most lawful thing, but why are they a thing? Because nobody is doing anything else.
Exactly.
It's like, if you're they waited,
and what's going to happen
for the police for that subway.
Yeah, what's going to happen in the future is that there'll be a black person or a person of color killing somebody, and white people will absolutely not help or get involved, because it will not be worth it for them to lose their life or livelihood, for somebody else. So all of this stuff, this defund the police nonsense, all of it is so that criminals, and I'm not saying everyone in a certain race is a criminal, that isn't what I'm saying. I'm just saying the criminals of that race, and there are criminals in every race, but they're the ones that don't want the police. They're the ones that don't want white vigilantes coming along. And what's the reason? Because they want to get away with committing crime. That is what it is ultimately. They don't want whitey, being the one who's the sheriff, who's telling people they can't do things. They want to do what they want to do.
Yeah. Especially since, after the George Floyd thing, that the numbers came out of, as far as unarmed, usually violent criminals are men. Sorry, Neil. But normally violent criminals.
I'm a black woman.
No, I apologize for my privilege. But that, as far as, okay, not all unarmed people do not constitute a threat. Let's just say that originally. But as far as unarmed black men and unarmed white men who were shot by police, it was more unarmed white men.
Yep.
Okay. And it wasn't a massive number. Naturally, people dying is a tragedy. I don't mean to discount that. But it wasn't a massive number of either, but it was slightly ticked above for the white male category.
But just going back to that whole thing about what was we saying now about the black mothers? When the what was the word? What was the word? Effervescent. Was it?
Yeah. But Neil, since you are a black woman, you can actually speak on the subject.
Oh, I can.
You are an authority.
So listen, bitches. I know. I'm a mother as well. I've decided I'm a black mother too. I just don't know where the child is. Okay, so don't ask me about the child, because that would be using your white privilege. So anyway, so we black mothers are the only mothers that are effervescent when we talk to our black babies. And what was the other thing? So who it was Fleecing the Disturbed went somewhere and met Lola Bean Yarn in person, and Adela was hugging her children, whatever, no big deal, whatever. But then, so this isn't about Adela.
I
No
got
problem
I
with it.
gotta say, this is a normal thing. We see our friends' kids every Friday at co-op, and they all come up and hug me, and we're all happy to see each other. It's a normal thing that people do, but
But
never
you
mind.
won't be effervescent. I'm sorry.
No, no, I
Being
am not
white, you're
effervescent. Have you met me?
fluorescent, but you're not effervescent.
I don't know that that word's ever been used to describe me. Okay, sorry, excuse me. I'm putting my white privilege out there ahead of you, and I interrupted a black woman. I apologize.
How dare you? Yes, and so fleecing the disturbed is the one that I have the issue with over this. But then she said, "I love all forms of black love." So I just twisted it all around and changed black for white. And when you read it, if you say, you know, only white mothers can be effervescent with their white babies, and I love all forms of white love, it does sound a little bit white supremacy.
Yeah,
You know.
Sure does.
that's racist. Not gonna lie.
Yep.
But
But as a black woman, I can't be racist, so I can say
why
whatever the
does
hell I
it have
like.
to be about the fact that they're a certain color? Why can't it just be that I love these relationships that dude, Anne came and visited our house. My kids now talk on the phone with her. Like every time I call, they have to come and talk to her because they've met her, they love her. We were all very happy to see her. Why can't we just talk about what great friendships that we have and how wonderful it is that we get to meet these people in person? No, it has to be about the color of the skin, and you don't count. We can't talk about how happy my kids were to see you because you're white. So sorry.
Oh,
It's just shit.
Well, there's an MP. Well, I think she's been fired now. I can't remember. Diane Abbott. I have mentioned her a few times. She was the first black MP in the UK, and she's a nightmare. She's an absolute nightmare. And a few years ago, she was. If you look it up, Diane Abbott. Caribbean mothers are better than white mothers. And on a TV show on the BBC, she actually said, what it was, she said a really stupid thing saying all Caribbean mothers would do the best for their children. And the presenter, kudos to him, it was Alexander O'Neill. No, what's his name? I've forgotten his name. Anyway, his name's gone. And he said, so are you saying that only black mothers would do that? And she just kept repeating the same thing over and over again, basically saying, you know, without saying that white mothers are trash. That's, you know, and Chinese mothers and Indian, you know, it's just this, why, I don't.
It's weird to put any race on a pedestal when it comes to raising their kids, except for those Asian tiger mothers who really are the best of us, but not because they're the best kids. Those kids are online.
Yeah, because what would have been wrong with fleecing the disturbed, just saying, "Oh, you know how marvelous, you know, an effervescent mother and child." You know, it didn't have to have
moms
race.
with their kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like
and I think she was gushing about how Adela was loving on her own kids, which is also wonderful. But why does it have to be about them being black? When Anne came to the house, you should have seen it. My kids were like snuggled right up next to her on the couch. They were playing video, like they were loving right on her. Like it's a normal
you're displaying
thing, and it's
white
wonderful.
fragility.
Thank you.
Yes, well, it's like that thing. Do you remember when they said that white people have no empathy for black people? That was it. And we had this conversation because your auntie's black, and it was like, well, you can't be empathetic to your auntie because you don't possess it. It's like they are literally doing what they say we do, which is dehumanizing people, and they want to make white people the devil, basically.
No, totally. And I've seen this too, not just in, you know, bizarro twisting of race relations, but twisting of gender relations too, where I actually met someone who thought that men just lack basic human, you know, love and relation for women. Like they didn't think of them as anything but, you know, objects in a body, that there was no like, oh, they like you personally for yourself. There's no concept of that. Just thought men were all that way. And I'm like, I'm a little grossed out and scared. You just dehumanized half the population. Like, are you? Oh, that, wow. I don't even know how to go about like addressing that. That's a lot of wrong.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel this way too, that it's like, oh, well, all of, you know, like large portions of the world population are trash. It's like, do you wanna talk? I mean, apart from, again, we were just making a lot of jokes about the Belgians. What was their deal? But it's like, hey, we're not totally discounting the Belgian people, even though they did some bad crap. Okay. Like,
yeah, nobody alive today did that.
Right.
They might still be eating those chocolates, but some of them won't know.
There might be somebody alive today doing that, but it is frowned upon.
Although, no, I won't go there. I won't go there. No. Anyway, Cooler Bra Designs. I've got her website up. So shall we have a quick look?
Good. Yeah.
So you can see, is it showing okay? Tell me which way to go. So there's Carousel, Aladdin, Martha. That's a strange name. The owl one, I love that one. That is so cool.
Oh
wow. And then
the one with the one that you just hovered over.
That one, Clandestine. Yeah, that's quite cool. It looks a bit like marijuana leaf, doesn't it? Is it enough leaf? No, it should be 7, shouldn't it? This one I think is really interesting. This is it's better than Stephen West, I think. She's much better than Stephen West.
She's more, it looks like.
Sorry, Jan, say that again.
No, Stephen West does complicated stuff too, but she does seem more modular and complicated.
Yeah, I've bought one of her mitten patterns, but I've not bought one of the shawl ones. But I might do just to see how she's made some of them.
Right. I think I bought a hat pattern from her. The thing about her and Stephen West is that she's not doing crazy stuff just to be over the top. I feel like Stephen West kind of got this like, oh, this is my aesthetic. And so now he makes like a giant blanket shawl that nobody is actually ever going to wear. Like, you know what I mean?
He's got to top the last thing, hasn't he? The last thing he did, he's got to make it, more. Yeah, because she's got some quite, I mean, they're nice, but it's nothing out of the world. Yeah. So she does do kind of more ordinary things as well. Right. But yeah, wow. God, I could never do colourwork socks. There's no way. I know I wouldn't get them over my feet. I don't know how people do it. Yeah, she's got a lot of sweater patterns as well. So it's not just shawls that she does.
So is she the woman that designed the fox paws shawl? That was a huge hit a long time ago, or is that
no? I think that was the transgender one, wasn't it? Called Andy Peters. Is it? Is it Andy Peters? No, that's
Zandy?
the TV presenter. Zandy, that's it. Yeah.
Okay. So
although she has got a fox one, she's
this
got one here, Fox Friendly.
Yeah,
I think she does.
And a couple of them are. Yeah, a couple of them are stacked stitches, which made me think that was her. So yeah.
That one isn't it? Creek. That's definitely stacked stitches.
So.
Yeah, so go to Cooler Bra with a K design. So it's design without an S, so it's not designs. And just have a look through because she's got so many cool things on there.
Yeah, I think I bought one of these hat patterns. One of these, you went past them, but one of these things that has the.
Is it that one? No.
One of them. There's a few that look similar.
I love the star. Is that a quilt or just a shawl or
this one here?
The
Star Trek.
The one below and to the left.
Oh, that one. Stars. Yeah, it looks like it's a throw.
That's pretty.
Oh wow.
I like this one.
You got your next project.
I love that.
That looks like a star, the sun, like amazing.
Yeah. It's like something you would have when you're a student at university, on the wall.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's the kind of thing I had on the wall when I was a student at university.
Oh, apparently I upset Tabitha. Sorry, Tabitha. I'm glad you like your West shawls. I just think that sometimes his designs are silly. And I remember you vividly talking about one that had something to do with like nipples, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, so, didn't Tabitha coin the phrase West knits are the worst knits?
She did.
Something like that.
And also
I firmly believe that West knits is a big troll.
Bites shawl, which I think color-wise is the most beautiful one that I've seen. But she did not want to finish it. Ooh,
I'll just put the main page on so that you can see what.
So that everybody can be offended by her statement.
Yeah. So that's there it is. Cooler Bra Designs, and there's the disclaimer underneath, so you can read it for yourself and be offended.
Nope. Yep. No, she's cool though.
She does some cool stuff.
Well, I think we need to do more of this. When they do call somebody out on CraftSnap for something bullshit, I think we need to share their websites and patterns so people can see, and then they can make their own mind up then, can't they, whether they want to buy them. Because don't people shouldn't go and buy that just because we've highlighted it. If you like the stuff, go and buy them. But if you don't, just go and buy. But
here, this is Tabitha's term.
I think Tabitha's got a bit of an obsession with nipples because there were 3 things in one day. Because one of my cows has got bobbles on it, and I think she mentioned on that it was the nipple cowl.
I mean, why would you? It's a cowl, so why nipples here? I mean, that's
Witches,
weird.
I don't know. Some witches have nipples all over the place, don't they?
Yeah, no, I like your idea though of highlighting people because, like, I think her designs are really cool. I have bought her patterns before, but I don't. Most of them I wouldn't knit personally, but other people don't know.
Well,
yeah, we can use our own brains to make decisions. Go figure.
are you sure?
Well, I don't know. I think you have to tell us because as a Black woman, you are the most
yes.
important person in the room.
Well, I'll decide for everybody. I'll just, do that. Oh, and speaking of Black women, I think we should mention the fundraising thing. So, do you remember the biggest grift in knitting history? It's kind of completely slowed to a halt now. So, since so Lola Bean Yarns did a GoFundMe for, was it 60,000 the original, or was it 40,000?
50?
I believe it was 60.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a weird. It was like wasn't a standard thing.
It wasn't nice and round. Okay.
Yeah, well, but anyway, so she got that and then immediately upped it to 100,000. And what was interesting though is that brought her to the attention of the craft snackers, and even they were a little bit thingy about it, being very careful. Obviously, kept saying things like it's got nothing to do with her race, it's got nothing to do with her, all that's nonsense. It's like, no, you're just as racist as the rest of us. If you're seeing somebody doing something bad,
it's like, look, man, she's a jerk. And no, it doesn't have anything to do with her race. But everyone always has to emphasize this and that because her race is a part of her brand.
Yeah.
That is the most interesting thing about her, apparently. I would think that her being a well-known yarn dyer is a very interesting thing. But no, it's...
Well, my opinion on that, though, is now she's going for the 100,000. She's only managed to get, I think, 76,000 only.
Yep.
But it seems to have stopped. I don't think anybody else is giving. Well, somebody might now. Somebody might just want to, spite us and decide to give her another 15,000. Go for it. Good luck to you. It doesn't bother me.
But you like your money, but why?
But all I can think is, how. I will forever know Lola Bean as the yarn company that couldn't make it work without begging for $100,000. It doesn't matter how brilliant she becomes in the future. She had to beg for money. Her business wasn't good enough to do it on her own. And I just think, has she got no sort of self-respect? But clearly not, to be begging in the first place for that kind of money.
I mean, she's the woman who made people buy skeins that her daughter dyed for like $75. Like, that's just insane. Oh, because my daughter should earn living wage. Your daughter's 7 and she shouldn't be working. So how about that?
At all? Yes, exactly. Yeah, I did look it up actually to see whether it was illegal in Georgia for them to be making the child work. But it turns out that if it's your own business, you can. So you can have child slaves. Who knew?
Well, I think it's within reason. It's not,
I mean,
they still have to be going to school and doing things.
Parents can be horrible to their children, whether or not the kids are forced to work or not. But I mean, well, like we said before, like Devin talks on her podcast about how her kids help her with her yarn and stuff. But she doesn't make a big deal about it. It's she's doing this and her kids are helping out.
And the children aren't the brand. She hasn't used them from birth to be the brand of her.
Right. They'll occasionally pop in on the podcast, but it's not a thing. It's my daughter's coming in, and I think she made like this little frog thing the other day. It was very cute, but she came on and talked about it.
Yeah.
And that's adorable. And like the summer that I sold all of the t-shirts, I had, 100 t-shirts or something to send out, and my kids helped me package them because...
Was that on the list of things that they have to tick off? We started off with that. We've gone whole circle. Yeah, no, do my business work for me.
They wanted to help me. They thought it was cool that I was sending out shirts, and all the packaging. But there's a difference between like that and basing your entire brand. Kind of shocked Lady Di hasn't started a GoFundMe. Yeah, that's true.
Well, the crafts narkers were on to her again the other day, and I don't know what. I think she's done another pre-order. I think.
Well, I think
without.
How did she have the gall to do another pre-order?
Anne might be able to clarify.
I think enough money has been thrown in her direction that if she can't get it together by now, like, whoa. God.
But the Ply magazine, I think they're called. They're doing a. It's not a GoFundMe. What's it called? When you try and get the money to do something. So it's not
like
begging.
A Kickstarter?
Kickstarter, that's the word. Sorry, I couldn't think. Yeah, they're doing a Kickstarter because they want to create this spinning class thing. But one of the things it says that they're going to be doing progressive lessons, I think it was. I just think, well, what's that? What's progressive lessons when it comes to spinning yarn? Is it, because progressive, isn't that all this nonsense, the woke shite?
Well, no, because it could also be progressive.
Sorry, go ahead.
It could also mean that, like, hey, you're going to start here, and this is what you do first, and then in the next lesson you learn a new thing. Like, building on itself could be progressive. Like, each lesson you learn a little bit more. Do
you think it will be that?
I don't know.
Probably.
That's what I said in the comments. I said it's either going to be that or it's going to be flogging
Anne and I are too
jaded while they're doing it.
Well, they could mean the proper thing.
Let's hope it's that.
That would make sense. Or they could say that only certain people can call it Navajo plying. However we want to do it.
I bet you there's going to be some of both, honestly. It's not just going to be all straight up one or the other.
Do you think they'll be doing Kitchener stick? Oh, no, they don't do that in spinning, will they?
No, not for spinning.
Yeah, I'm getting my yarns mixed up.
No.
It kills me. All of this just makes me crazy.
What else has been going on? There's something else that's been a bit of a drama, hasn't there? It's gone. Can't think.
That's okay. Was there anything else we had to touch on?
Can't think.
No, Neil's done. What time is it there now?
It's 9 p.m.
Yeah.
I think we're actually getting into a bit of summer now because it's been really warm today and it's still quite bright outside. I had to close the blinds early because the sun was burning into my head. So that's why it looks so dark in here.
So what's really warm there for you?
Oh, right. You'll all be like, what? It's currently... Oh, it's gone down a bit. It was 21 degrees earlier, and it felt like... Oh, you don't know what that is, do you? Because you don't do it.
No, we use human measurements here.
It's double it and add 30, isn't it? Thereabout. So it'll be... So it's only 50 something, but it feels really hot. Look at Anne's face. That's hot.
50 something?
Yeah. Well, no,
sure.
That can't be right, can it?
No,
it
that can't be right. Come on. 70? 70 seems more accurate.
7.
Guys, in the comments, what's 21 degrees Celsius? Quick.
Maybe my thermometer's just broke.
No, I don't know, but it was 60 here today. It was very nice. And I know Anne's had her windows open, which means that it must be something also nice there.
No, it's really pleasant.
Yeah. I want to know what 21 is, though. It's currently 85 degrees in South Florida. Yeah.
He says 70.
Oh,
is that where she is, though, or is that where I am?
No, I think that's the 20. I think that's you.
Oh, is it?
It was about 70 there. Yeah. Which was super hot, but it was just 70.
That's hot for me.
Absolutely perfect.
Yeah, no, we love 70 here. I've got one kid that won't go outside once it's over 75. Yeah, 60, 21 equals 69.8. Thank you very much for doing the math for us. Appreciate it.
What would we do without these clever people in the comments?
That's why I
Even
asked
Anne
you,
didn't
always
know
so
that
lovely. I know.
That's
not something we learn here. I don't know. Maybe we do. I don't remember. It's a long time ago that I was in school.
Well, I think we've had this conversation before, haven't we? But we kind of learn both systems here, and we use different measurements for different things. So if you're weighing a human, it's in stones. If you're weighing goods, you know, like in a shop or whatever, it won't be in that. It'll be in metric. But if I tend to use inches for clothing and centimeters for everything else. And I don't know why we do that, but we all seem to do it here.
Doesn't that hurt your brain?
No, we're clever.
Well,
well, I guess I'm not then. Thanks so much.
I'm joking. I don't know.
For a time in my life, I really wanted to learn Japanese. And what really killed it for me was the number system, because they have different words for the same number, but also they have different words for when they're counting different things. So there'll be a different suffix or there's a set of number words, and then all of the number words will change a little, and then there'll be a different suffix on them. It's like, are you counting people, or are you counting animals? Are you counting small flat objects? Are you counting chairs? And you have to kind of know which sort of a thing that you're counting and what sort of word connection is. I'm like,
I think we now know why Japan is the least diverse country in the world, and there are only Japanese people living there, because who's got time for that? Well, OMG.
It's also really funny because they also don't expect anyone else to learn their own language at all. Like, there was a guy who lived there after World War II. His name was Donald Keene, and he was like the guy. I mean, there's other, but the guy for translating works from Japanese into English. And he was a professor at Columbia, like, until he died. He was like 96, and that was only a couple of years ago. Anyways, brilliant guy, very funny. But he talked about how he actually wrote a book in Japanese about Japanese literature because he was very knowledgeable about this. He did the translating, and he was a professor. And it was so funny that he would walk around Japan and they'd be like, oh, you don't understand. It's like, it's okay, I'll translate for you. And he's like, no, literally a professor. Like, it's like, oh, this is kanji. It's okay, I'll read it. Like, no, I can read it. This is what I do. They're like, it's okay, white man. It's a.
One of my school friends moved to Japan almost straight after leaving school. He still lives there now. And I just find it bizarre because without being rude to him, he wasn't like very academic or very particularly clever, you know, the type, but good at sport, that kind of thing. Anyway, he's over in Japan teaching English, and he's like, he could barely speak English here, but he's now fluent in Japan. I don't know whether he can write it. I don't know. I'm sure he can write the there's few different versions of the written Japanese language, isn't there? I can't think what it's called now. Oh, it's a 3. Yeah, the one that's probably more phonetic probably is the one that he can use. But yeah, it's like, wow, I would have no chance. I mean, I remember years ago watching Shogun. So it was a book by the same guy who, I forget. Anyway, it was a great Richard Chamberlain. So if any of the oldies remember watching that, and during that show, they were teaching him, the character, to speak Japanese. And I still remember a few of the things, but one of the things was, I won't get it right now, but karamaska, I think it is. But it meant something different by just changing the inflection. So karamaska means something different to karamaska. Completely different. You know, it's not even just slightly different. So how they remember that, I have no idea.
Right. Though I think like Mandarin is much worse for that than Japanese is. Like, they'll do and Thai sometimes too, that it's a different emphasis. And I mean, I failed out once it came to numbers, and that's not very far in Japanese. But my understanding of the language is that it's not.
Did I tell you I was learning Esperanto?
No.
Because this is
we had this conversation.
Have we? Yeah, it's the limit of my intelligence. I can't do beyond that. And basically, it's a made-up language, a bit like Klingon. But it was made up by a guy from Poland, and it uses elements of every language that he knew of at the time. But it's the easiest language you can learn. So if anyone fancies learning a language, learn Esperanto. And one of the reasons why I was learning it is because there are Esperanto speakers in every country in the world. And if you want to go on holiday, they have this thing called the passport system, where you can contact other Esperanto speakers and they'll put you up in their home, wherever they are. But you can only speak Esperanto to, and there's a lot in Japan. So if you go over to Japan, there are plenty of people over there that speak Esperanto but can't speak English. So you would have to speak Esperanto with them, and it's quite fun. You know, if I was younger, I would be, you know, off about doing that. But I was never very good at it. I can read it and write it, but I just can't speak it. Do you speak languages? Do either of you speak another language?
Not really.
Look at you.
I mean,
New York.
Well, here we all learn Spanish. And since I went to a private school, it was the only language that was offered because there weren't enough kids to offer more than one language. So we learned Spanish. I sucked at it. But now my 10-year-old is taking Spanish at co-op, and I actually, like, I can read it and I can write it, and I can't speak it. I'm kind of like that. Like, and so much of it is coming back now that I'm doing like homework and stuff with them. But
Anne, I bet you know Latin.
I don't. I was not that homeschooler.
Oh, you've ruined all my imaginations of what your schooling was like. Ancient Greek, ancient Latin. That's what I was thinking.
No.
Seems like she would, but no.
No.
But you can count some things in Japanese.
Can I, though?
Probably not anymore. You know, I have a acquaintance. My brother-in-law's really good friend learned Japanese so that he could watch anime in its original language.
Wow. That's dedication, isn't it?
And hearing about how crazy it is, I'm like, why would you do that to yourself?
Well, like I said, from somebody who knows nothing, I would say that Japanese is not the most difficult.
Oh, not the most?
Not the most.
Oh, I thought it was like what they call a level 6, like Arabic, like one of the hardest. But
I have no idea.
I mean, like I said, I quit out at numbers. I've said that like 5 times, but I'm not the person. But there was a lot of parts of it that a lot of it is fairly phonetic. So, and it's a different order of words, and there's other logic bits about it. But that, okay, so I didn't learn it to watch anime, but whenever I do watch anime, I have the subtitles on because American voice actors drive me up a wall, and that's a personal problem, and I'll accept that about myself. But like, okay, the Japanese voice actors, their voices are like 2 octaves higher than the Japanese ones, even for like small children. So when you have like these weird, bright, happy voices, you're like, oh, that's an anime voice. I'm like, no, that's an American version of an anime voice. Not that way.
We should all do a Duolingo along and learn a language. Oh, come on, DK. You know you want it.
Neil, you need to go read the post that I wrote on Patreon yesterday, and then you'll understand why I'm saying no, okay?
I think I read it. I think.
It talks about how all I have done lately is just pile new things on top of myself, and I cannot put anything else on. I'm done.
But this is only just a little extra thing.
Nope.
I don't know.
Not doing it.
Okay, with the language thing. Okay, so like I said, not to be that guy, but you know, I was in Romania. Like, oh, I should learn some Romanian. I could not get Romanian in my head. I don't know if I just was generally uninterested in it, but I couldn't. It didn't make sense to me. It was a Latin-based language, so it had that going for it. But really, I'm like,
I tried Polish for one day. And the reason why I gave up was because one of the first things on Duolingo was boy and girl, you know, like man, woman, boy, girl, that kind of thing. And the word for girl, I can't even say it. You know, it's like I can't even remember what it was, but it is the hardest word I've ever come across. So it's just like, oh, I can't be bothered with this. That's it. Off. I did get quite far with Norwegian. Norwegian is very easy for English speakers if you do want to learn a language that is pretty much useless because I don't think they speak it anywhere apart from Norway.
Well, a couple of small town festivals out here, like some of the little towns have Norwegian days because a lot of the people who settled here were Norwegian.
Yeah, you need to learn Spanish, really, don't you? Or Chinese. One of the Chinese languages is probably the best language to learn when we get taken over.
When Title 42 ends, we're going to need to speak Spanish because there's going to be way more of them than us. So whatever.
Anyway.
Oh, well, speaking of illegal migrants,
and people are going to say I'm terrible. So,
well, we've suddenly launched this barge or something to put all our illegal migrants on. I don't know whether you've heard about that, Anne.
Yeah, and then what are you going to do? Just push it out into sea?
I think so. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with it.
I'm just thinking of like the weird underwater barge that they had in Captain America Civil War. That's like, oh, is that where the human rights violations are? Yes, on that barge, right there. Except, I mean, I'm not for keeping the migrants in England, but still.
He said we should learn Klingon. I'm up for that.
Useful among nerds.
And in Minnesota, some people still speak Norwegian, so it isn't as useless as it may sound at first. Or what we could do is learn Welsh.
Why? Why are we learning a language?
Well, just so we can all fail and laugh. That's because we are all going to fail on it, aren't we?
Yeah.
Well, Morgan, I don't know whether Morgan's still here. I think she speaks about 8 languages. She's a polyglot or whatever they call them. Yeah, she speaks French, Spanish, something else as well. I can't remember. She speaks a few languages.
That's interesting. But as fun as it is trying to decide what language we're hypothetically going to learn, I have to go cook dinner.
Yeah, it's getting dark here. It's nearly bedtime.
Yes, it's 4:15 here, which means that my family is going to start wanting to know what we're going to eat soon. So,
what are you going to eat?
We're going to have stir fry. Oh. My fake westernized attempt at Chinese stir fry. So there you go.
Nice.
Does that make you a cultural appropriation person?
Probably, but it's it comes in a bag from Aldi. It's all frozen vegetables, and then I add meat to it.
So you're going to pretend you're Japanese?
I think it's Chinese, Japanese, whatever.
Do they do stir fries as well? I don't know.
I have no idea. We're gonna have stir fry with some egg rolls that are also probably some bastardized version of what's real. So there you go.
Egg rolls. An egg roll.
Yes. Yeah.
What's an egg roll?
You don't know what an egg roll is?
I think we might call it something else. Do you mean an omelet?
No. It's in a pastry, and it's got like cabbage and.
What do we call them? We don't call them egg rolls. We call them. Oh, Adam, help me out here. I can't think.
I don't know if he's still there. He's been real quiet. Both stir fry and egg rolls are more American than anything Asian.
Yeah, we call them something completely different. They're like cylinder shapes, aren't they? And some have meat in, and some have veg in, and what are they called?
Emily says like
spring
a
roll.
Yeah, but
spring roll.
But these are fried, whereas spring rolls tend to be like in that like see-through shell. These are like in a harder like a wonton shell.
I think spring rolls can be either. I think they can be deep fried or they can be. I think might be wrong. So which sounds nicer, an egg roll or a spring roll?
It's a horse piece.
What was that?
I always find that weird how people, different countries that speak the same language have different names for the same food. Just find that so strange.
Spring rolls and egg rolls are different here. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So
okay,
because spring rolls tend to be in that like see-through shell that you can like see all the fancy stuff through it.
And is it more? And it's soft as well. Is it? Is it soft or softer than? Yeah. Maybe. One has meat. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know all the answers. I buy it from Aldi. It comes in a pack. So that's what I know. And then my kids will complain because it's a lot of vegetables. And then they're, what are we going to eat? You're going to eat the dinner I cooked.
Do they like curries?
I don't know. I've never had curry.
She's savage.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you want me to send you some recipes?
I don't know that I would make them. My husband does not like curry. So therefore, I've never had it, but he has. You know, Anne, when you were here, you should have made us something fancy and wonderful because Anne is a good cook.
Yeah.
Oh, are you? Ah.
It's my secret ability.
And I know that she's told me she's made curry before, and I didn't even think to take advantage of it.
Well, I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I am a bit of a curry expert when it comes to cooking them. Yeah, I did quite a lot of curry cooking because one of the reasons was I didn't want to eat halal meat. And in the UK, if you buy a curry anywhere, it's halal. So it's been slaughtered and bled, you know, in the a bit like kosher. And I disagree with it basically, and it's very, very hard in the UK to buy it unhalaled. I don't know a better way. But also, I didn't want to sort of pay towards that, so I started to learn how to make my own. And I do have some. If anyone wants some curry tips, let me know and I shall give you some. But because the reason why I said it is because it's a great thing to do with vegetables in a curry. The authentic curries that you get, when I say authentic, the ones from the takeaways, which we think of as authentic, obviously they're not authentic in India, but what they do to get the sauces really thick, they literally blend vegetables, and that is the sauce. But you don't know it's vegetables because it's curry. So if your kids like curry, they'll eat the vegetables without even knowing.
That's interesting. You can send me a recipe. Like I said, doesn't mean I'll make it, but you never know. It might be worth it.
You'll have
conversation now, but I am fascinated in continuing this conversation. You're not necessarily
Yeah, I've got quite a few Indian cookbooks, so I can send you some recipes if you want. Ceci just said as well that curry isn't very popular in the United States. And she's never had one, which is like I think it's our national dish now is an Indian curry. But we've had curries here since Victorian days because Queen Victoria had curry recipes brought over.
Well, that's interesting.
So no, someone said, are all curries hot? No, they're not all hot. It just depends on your taste. You know, you can make them as hot as you want. You don't have to put chili in. I mean, if you think about it, if you eat Mexican food, you can eat curries.
Okay.
Because Mexican food, you know, with your chilies on, you know, that's going to be hotter than an average curry.
Yeah, you got to remember, guys, the British dude is telling us about it. They don't eat anything that's terribly spicy. It will kill them.
Curries can be.
Apart from curries, we do. Well, don't forget English mustard. Have you ever had English mustard? I would say, on the scheme of things, English mustard is not far off wasabi. It's probably the hottest mustard you can get.
Right. Well, I remember someone was saying that they were serving a meal and it was with buffalo sauce, which can be very hot. And so I was like, oh, no, don't do that. You know, we're serving food to old white guys. There's nothing more old and white than buffalo sauce. Like, all the white guys are at Buffalo Wild Wings. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that is true.
Someone saying says she has a baby mouth. She doesn't like spicy food at all. Well, the curries that you would probably like are kormas, what's called a korma, and that's coconut. Yeah, coconut, and it's quite sweet. Very, it's not bland, but no, it's very tasty actually. But there's no heat to it at all.
Yeah, I'm not over fond of korma myself.
It's a bit creamy, isn't it? If you don't like creamy things, you know.
No, I like creamy. I don't know. There is something texturally and it's sweet. And I'm like, not so into that. But I mean, I don't go for overly spicy things too. Like, I like there to be a little heat. I don't like it to be totally without it, but I like to taste my food. So I'm a little bit of a wimp.
Well, this is why I was saying how weird it is to have curry sauce on fish, you know, at the beginning, because to me, fish is quite a delicate flavor, isn't it? And it's very easy to unless it's salmon or something strong. So the moment you put curry on fish, you can't taste the fish. Peanut curry is my favorite. Yeah, that's Thai, isn't it? Thai peanut curries are lovely. See, we're not as bland as you guys think over here, you know.
There's been so much today that I have just sat here and listened to you guys because I am just. Do you need me on this show next week? Next time, shall I just bow out? You two can talk about whatever you talk about.
Just sit here, talk with it.
Right, and next time, I think we should do a little pact where we don't say anything and let DK say everything on her own.
No. Actually, it's going to be just the two of you next time. So,
why?
There you go.
How come?
I'm busy.
Oh, are you?
Oh.
Ooh.
So, anyway, I still cook
busy
dinner.
for us.
Too busy for you. But guys, thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching, listening to our nonsense for 2 hours and 15 minutes. And we appreciate it. And we'll see you later.
Yeah, Tabitha, I'll see you Friday.